I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Genevieve Collins, the Texas Director of Americans for Prosperity. Genevieve, thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Good morning. As we know, we are 2 months out from an election. Immigration continues to be one of those top issues facing voters. You are a self-described hardcore Texan. So as a hardcore Texan, can you describe for us what the situation on the ground is like?
Sure. Well, Texas has taken the brunt of 3.5 years of illegal immigration. We've seen the federal government, specifically the Biden Harris administration, abdicate its duty in securing our border, but more importantly, making sure our citizens are safe, whether that's all along the Texas border or throughout the rest of the southern border. We've also seen the largest caravans of illegal immigration ever before. And because of Kamala Harris's role in supposed to kind of handle the border crisis, we've seen that every state is now sharing the burden of becoming a border state. So immigration is a top issue. It is the number one issue in Texas during the primary season. It is the number two issue after the economy in the state of Texas. And I think that what's interesting, immigration's always and border security is always a big issue in Texas, but now we're seeing it really ripple across the rest of the country and it being a continued top issue. And you can really see the difference between the candidates and their policy versus also what the reality of their leadership looks like.
Let's talk about that because we've seen 3 years of Vice President Harris in this administration. We also saw 4 years of Trump ahead of or before that. And even, the Biden administration has seen record high migrants coming across the border, but President Trump, while he was president, there were hundreds of thousands of migrants coming in then. So what do you think are the biggest differences between both policies?
Well, first off, I think that there's the Trump administration. So, yes, they had a lot of migration as well, but they also had a focus on border security. And there was a whole bunch of cacophony around the border wall, or I like to just think of it as a larger infrastructure package. And that being, I believe Kamala Harris called it a vanity project, and Democrats thought that it was a horrible kind of old way of doing immigration policy. Whereas I think President Trump, because he had a vision for border security, was able to kind of begin to put us on a path towards that issue or towards more border infrastructure. And to be honest, in Texas, we've had border walls since the 1990s, right?
Like you said, Texas has had border walls since the 90s. That was a huge point of contention, the Trump presidency, as we remember. But I wrote down something that you said. You called it a larger infrastructure package. Do you think if it was packaged that way, people would be more on board with that? Which sounds silly, but the politics of the wall were very divisive just a few years back.
Yeah, I'm not sure that anyone, the Republicans or Democrats, will get on the same page with just a better marketing plan. We've seen that that's fallen apart. Unfortunately, at Americans for Prosperity, we believe in a larger infrastructure package, that it's border secure. It's not just a border wall. Customs and Border Protection, they need physical barriers to really drive people towards one central point of entry versus having a porous border. But we need more than just a wall. It's technology. It's being able to equip border agents with the different types of vehicles that they can go secure our border. Or, in Texas, we've had to have the buoys in the Rio Grande River to stop that illegal migration. So infrastructure really, to me, is the key source of border security. When we get the infrastructure package right, then we're going to be able to really tackle the next big issue, which is immigration reform, asylum reform, appointing more federal judges, and really changing how we look at immigration, but also know that we need immigration. We need more people to come here. We need people to fill jobs, that we are open and we want people to come and be a part of this great country. But we need to really stop the bleeding before we can actually begin the bigger issue of asylum reform and things of that nature.